Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tech Showdown. My name is Kevin, and today we're checking out the Logitech G302 Daedalus Prime, and this is a MOBA style gaming mouse. So a lot of people have been looking forward to this, and it comes in at a pretty good value for money mark. So let's cover the key specs first. So it has a 4000 Dpi optical sensor, 1000 Hz polling rate. It has a metal spring left and right button tensioning system, and on-the-fly Dpi adjustment button. That's just that one here behind the scroll wheel. 6 programmable buttons, so there's 2 on the side as well. It comes in at only 87 grams, which is really light, which a lot of people like for MOBA games and stuff like that. Now, size-wise, it's coming in at 115 millimeters long by 65 millimeters wide by 37 millimeters tall, so it is quite low, it is quite sleek. And the price point, this is obviously in New Zealand money, is $55 at Playtech currently, and it comes with a 2-year warranty. So $55 NZD at Playtech. Now, looks-wise, so it's very small. Well, it's not very small, but it is on the smaller end. And it's quite angular, if you haven't noticed, especially around the sides here. And it's very minimalistic. Like, this is, yeah, wow. There's not much to it at all. So the design overall is quite plain, which I don't consider a bad thing. You know, different people like different things, and some people don't want the really intimidating, you know, really complicated looking gaming mice. But they have included this lighting at the rear and on the sides, which is to kind of, you know, spice it up a little bit, which is, you know, good. You can adjust this, so you can either just turn it off completely if you don't want it, or you can set it, set the rate that it breathes at, or you can also set it just to stay on, and also the brightness and all that. So that's good. That is customizable, so you don't have to worry about that if you don't like it. But yeah, if it didn't have this lighting, like if you turn it off or something, yeah, it looks pretty plain. Yeah. But the weirdest thing I found with the design, which overall I thought was decent, you know, it is small and sleek, so that's good, is the fact that it is symmetrical. It's symmetrical, I should say. So you'd think, well, then this could be a good ambidextrous gaming mouse. But it isn't, because it doesn't have the buttons on the other side. It only has them on the left-hand side, which means this is obviously directed at right-hand use only. Which it just perplexes me, because I don't understand why. It's like they made an ambidextrous gaming mouse, and then at the last minute they decided it should be just right-handed. It's so weird, and I don't understand why. It's only for right-handed use. But anyways, yeah, so there's that. So if you're a left-handed mouse user, I'm sorry, it's just not going to work for you. Comfort-wise, I thought it was okay. So this mouse feels like it's directed primarily at palm grip users, because it's very wide at the rear, which means that if you go, I'll just use my left hand for example though, if you hold it with a palm grip, so you know you cover the whole mouse basically, your whole palm lays flat against it, it is quite comfortable. But for people with a claw grip like me, it seems like where you grab it, you know, with your claw grip is quite, you know, where it's quite wide, and it just doesn't feel that ideal. That's, I mean, it's just, this is just my opinion, and I have quite large hands as well, so I didn't think it was that comfortable. It's okay for a little while, but it doesn't cradle your hand that well, especially in contrast to the G502, which really does. So I just think it wasn't that ideal for maybe claw grip users, and they could have just slimmed it down a little bit so it wasn't so wide, and that might have fixed the problem. But yeah, I didn't think it was really that comfortable, and it's probably not going to be as comfortable for as many varieties of grip types and, you know, hand sizes as the G502 is. Now, accuracy and sensitivity. So it has a 4000 Dpi sensor, which is pretty good. Logitech sensors in general I find to be usually really good. I mean, the G502 is fantastic, and this one's no difference. It's really nice, really accurate. I really liked it. However, 4000 DPI, it just doesn't seem like it's quite enough. I mean, it was enough for me, but when I was playing League of Legends, I had to set it to the max. And a lot of people might not like that, because I know that a lot of people run very, very high, sensitivities in MOBA games. And I'm kind of like that, but not nowhere near what some people are. So yeah, I think some people will be pretty disappointed that it won't go as high as they would want it to. And for FPS games though, it's going to be just fine. There's plenty. I was dropping it down to 2000 to 2500 depending on the game type. And that's plenty, because obviously you don't need super high DPI. Well, I don't anyways. I mean, some people might, but I don't consider. Although yeah, there's a few people out there run very high DPI on their FPS games. But personally, I usually drop it down quite a bit when I'm playing first-person shooters, and then I bump it all way up for when I'm playing MOBAs. But that's just me. See, I thought it could have done. It would have been more safe for them to go with a higher DPI sensor in it, such as the one that's in the G302. I just think that would have been a better bet, because it's going to be more customizable, and it's going to, be able to fit more people in terms of what people like to run and their sensitivity. Now, if we just scroll down here, I left it plugged in for you guys so you could see the lighting, because it does look quite nice, and it just looks way too plain without it. Now the buttons and the scroll wheel. So we'll start off with the on-the-fly DPI buttons. That's behind the scroll wheel here, this little slim one. So a lot of people complain that these are really unnecessary, but honestly I don't mind it that much. I think it can be quite useful, especially if you go into the software, the Logitech software, and you set up all the different types you want. So every time you hit it, it'll go to a different setting, and then you can just switch between it very easily without having to go into the software in between games. You can just, hit the button. I mean, it's a bit more convenient. I don't know. I figured it wasn't that bad, and I don't know why people complain about it so much. It's because it is actually, kind of nice to have. The side buttons are, they're tucked away, which is nice. They don't get in the way. You don't accidentally hit them, so that's always a good thing. But as buttons, they're just average. Nothing to really complain about or, praise about them. The scroll wheel was the exact same thing. It was just average. It felt grippy, but nothing that good about it. Nothing that bad about it, which obviously makes it better than the G302's scroll wheel, which I found to be, not that good at all. However, the main event is the left and right click buttons. Now these feature their metal spring tensioning system, which sounds very complicated, but overall these are fantastic, and they've really put the research into the right place. So it's always quite hard to describe for you guys, but yeah, they just feel very predictable and very accurate, and it's not like you're going to accidentally click using them. They just feel quite cushioned and predictable. So and it gives you that feeling of very responsive when you're actually in the game, and you know that you've clicked what you're to activate your ability or to aim or whatever whatever game you're playing. It just felt really good, and for MOBAs it was fantastic. And even in the FPS games I played, it also felt really good. So these right and left mouse click buttons were fantastic, A+, some of the best I've ever used. They nailed it there. Now, additional features, it does come with Logitech software, which I'll be getting into in more detail when I do the G910 video. But for the mouse, the software is pretty straightforward. It's very easy to use, which I like. Corsair software is just too complicated. Razer's is decent as well, in terms of easy use, and that's what I really liked about it. Although there's not that much to adjust on the G302, so some people might not like it because there won't be as much customizability as maybe they would like. But aside from that, it was pretty good to use, and as I said, you can adjust the lighting, you adjust what the DPI settings switch to and all that, and overall I thought it was actually pretty decent, the software. Now the cable is rubber, which I personally, I prefer braided cables. A lot of people say, well, why is it such a big deal? It isn't a big deal to me. It's just one of those little things I like. To me, it signifies a more premium product when you have a braided cable. It separates it from all just average, computer mouse that you would have that just runs a rubber cable. It just separates it. It just makes it look a bit more premium. I just like that little extra. But honestly, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't have it, and I didn't mean to make big points out of it when I pointed out with other products, oh, it's a rubber cable. It's not like it's the end of the world, so it's fine. It's not that big of a deal, and it is nice and long, so that's really good too. So that leads us to the conclusion. Now, design-wise, I think it was too much. It was just too aimed at palm grip users, and I guess they forgot a little bit about claw grip users as much, because it's fine for it's fine for claw grip users for a couple of hours, and then it just starts to feel a bit uncomfortable. If you're a palm grip user, then it'll do just fine. It'll be fantastic. It might just be my hands as well, being quite big. So people with smaller hands that use palm grip might find it to be just fine. Now the sensor is accurate, but it only goes up to 4000 dpi, so it's not going to be enough for some people, I think. It just depends on the user, but I think it would have been safer to include a higher DPI mouse sensor, especially for people that are going to be gaming on higher resolution monitors, especially people on 4K, which, again, it's not going to be that many people, but still, it's safer to do it that way. Now the right and left mouse click button, the main buttons, are exceptional. These are just so good. They are, they absolutely nailed it with them. I think they're some of the best I've ever used, although the other buttons are all pretty average, but they are fantastic. If you ever use one of these or try them at a computer store, you'll know exactly what I mean as soon as you try it out. Now, considering the price, which is, as I said earlier, $55 New Zealand at Playtech right now, it comes in pretty strong, but I feel like it's too focused on the MOBA users, and yeah, before you correct me, of course, that's what it's designed for. But when I test a gaming mouse, I try it in all the games, like all different genres of games. Not just the ones they're directly aimed at, because obviously they're probably going to do that one very well, but most people play other games as well as the kind of like main genre of games, whether it be an MMO or a MOBA or something else, they're going to play other ones as well. So you want something that can do most things really well. And this one I feel is just too focused on MOBAs, so yeah, I mean, it was very, very good for it, but I'd like it if it was more like the G302, which does everything very, very well. I mean, for people like my girlfriend who pretty much only plays League of Legends, it's going to be fine because you're only playing MOBAs, and so I would recommend this more than the G302 if you're just like that. Maybe if I chase her around, with a bee again and a piece of paper, then maybe that might get her to play some other games. I don't know. No, that's bad. Shouldn't do it. But it's pretty fun. Yeah, so if you play other games rather than MOBAs, then I would find myself recommending you guys to get a G302 over this. For general use, the G302 is going to be better. For customizability, it's going to be better. For FPS gaming, it's probably going to be better than this. And for MOBAs, this one will be better, but I mean, the G302 wasn't that bad for it. Honestly, I thought it was, yeah, just better overall. I mean, purely for MOBAs, if that's all you play and you want a good value for money gaming mouse, then look no further. This will do you just fine. If you want something more general that's going to do everything really good at a similar price, then the G302 is also an absolutely excellent choice. And that's going to round out this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to have the G910 video coming up very soon, so please subscribe to Tech Showdown if you haven't already. Please like the video, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.